What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Casual Critic Show. Today we are reviewing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel that Netflix just put out a couple weeks ago. And, of course, with any horror movie sequel, my expectations were rather low. And I will say that my expectations were definitely met. And before we get into the actual review, if you haven't seen it and you plan to see it, this is your spoiler warning. Go watch it and then come back to this video and see if we agree on what we thought about it, okay? So the story is that this group of kids are going to Harlow and they're going to try to revitalize the town. They're like selling all these old buildings. They're going to turn it into cool restaurants, cool stores, whatever. If you ask me, that is a pretty dumb way to set up a movie. Like, I don't give a shit about this. Why would they choose Harlow, Texas, especially with the history that it has already with Leatherface? And if you can hear my dog, I apologize. She's wondering where I am. But I thought it was a dumb way to set up the movie, but again, I wasn't expecting very much. So when they get there, they're like looking at all the buildings because in their eyes, they already own them. Like, even though their paperwork is not done, which is very important, they're like, oh, well, I just own all this. I just own all this. They're like acting like big shots or whatever. So they go into the old orphanage, and lo and behold, there is a creepy old-ass lady living in there. And she used to run the orphanage. And she's like, oh, well, I didn't know it was foreclosed. Which I'm like, girl, you probably would have known if it was foreclosed or not. But anyway, she's like, well, I'm not leaving. I don't want to leave. And then they're like fighting with her and gets her all in a fit. She starts throwing up. And the sheriff comes and's got to take her to the hospital. But along with her living in the orphanage, there's this other guy living there that turns out to be Leatherface. And he apparently used to be there when he was young, and I guess he came back there after the original massacre happened and has been laying low for 50 years. And again, I find that dumb. You're telling me that this guy who went killing people with a chainsaw is going to be lying low and also among other people for 50 years? And there's not going to be any chainsaw incidents. Okay, whatever. But she has a fit. She's fucking dying. The sheriff is taking her to the hospital, and she dies in the sheriff's car. And he's there holding her, and he's like, ah! And then he goes off killing people because that's what you do, I guess, when that happens. And, of course, there's a bunch of investors there in the town, so it's right full of, people just waiting to be chainsawed to death. And so he goes back to town. He starts doing his thing that he loves to do. And while all this is happening, they introduce the sole survivor of the original movie, which is Sally. During all this time, she's become a Texas Ranger, which I honestly think is kind of badass. And I think fits. Like, I think that works and makes sense. So she hears through the grapevines that Leatherface is doing his thing again. And she's like, well, I'm going to go get my revenge for my friends. And she gets her truck, and she gets her shotgun, and she goes down to Harlow, Texas. And honestly, during this part of the movie, I was enjoying myself a little bit. The acting and the writing was still cheesy, and that was the case throughout the whole movie. But I liked her character, and obviously being a fan of the original one, the original movie is in my top 5 horror movies of all time. So I liked seeing her, and I was glad she was there. So she gets down to Harlow, and by the time she gets there, almost everyone's dead because that's how horror movies work. And she gets down there, and I'm rooting for her, right? I'm rooting for her. I'm wanting her to get the fucking job done because I know she can do it. And instead of that happening, Leatherface takes his fucking chainsaw and puts it right through her belly and lifts her up into the sky and throws her into a pile of garbage, and she fucking dies. And when that happened, I literally had to pause the movie, take a breath, because it pissed me off so bad. Because it was so cheap for whoever made this movie. I don't know who made it. But whoever made this movie to bring back such an iconic character from horror movies just to kill them in your shitty fucking sequel. It really pissed me off. Anyway, after she dies, the 2 remaining people who are alive, which are the 2 remaining from like the main 4 that you meet at the beginning of the movie, they're siblings. And so they go off and they kill him. And I thought he had died. He ends up coming back. But when I thought that they had killed him, I was so pissed because you're going to sit there and you're going to kill off the only survivor, excuse me, and then you're going to let these two fucking idiot newbies get the credit of killing him. I was pissed. And so after they kill him, they go to their car and they put it into autopilot, some kind of electric car, I don't know. They put it in autopilot and they're going 2 miles an hour. You could have stepped out of this car and not even tripped. Like, it's moving, but it's going so slow. It's ridiculous. And they're going along, headed home, and Leatherface comes out of nowhere and drags one of the siblings out of the car. And instead of, I don't know, stopping the car, parking the car, getting out of the car, grabbing your sister, anything like that would have been good options. The other sibling, who's still in the car, decides to climb out of the sunroof and just start screaming while the car is still moving. Just still going at 2 miles an hour. And her sister gets fucking decapitated with a chainsaw. And then the car's just still rolling along. And that's how it ends. And at that point, I laughed because it was really funny. And if you don't plan to watch this movie, because why would you? I mean, I only watched it just because it was a sequel to, a movie that I really, really like. But if you don't plan to watch it, you should at least watch the ending clip because it's pretty funny. It's awful, but it's really funny. I laughed very hard. So that's how it ends. The story is shit. Like, the only good part about any of this movie is Sally, and they fucking killed her off. This director, whoever it is, must have a big old set of balls because I don't know how you could do that. But the writing is terrible. The acting is terrible. Stop putting Jacob Latimore in movies. Jacob Latimore has never been good in any movie he's ever been in. So quit it. He doesn't need to be acting. Okay? I remember when I was in middle school, I liked one of his songs, and that was as far as I'll go with Jacob Latimore. But quit putting him in movies, please. The acting is terrible. It's not really that scary. It's very gory if you like gore or if you like to watch, interesting kills. Because some of the kills were, interesting the way that one of the kills was when he was on the bus full of, the people that had come down to bid on the buildings, all the investors. And there was a banker lady in the bus, and she's climbing out of the bus window, and he chops her in half, and her top half comes out into the street, and then her bottom half is in the bus, and it was crazy. There were some interesting kills. But if you don't care about that, or, if that doesn't interest you, then you're not going to like this movie. But if you watched it and you liked it, let me know what you liked about it. And if you watched it and you didn't like it, let me know down in the comments if you agreed with what I said on it or what. Overall, I gave it a 1 out of 5, and that 1 star goes to Sally, and that's it. So let me know what you thought about it. Let me know if you want to see it. If you don't, just let me know in the comments below. Fill me in. And if you want to follow me on all my socials, they'll be linked in the bio down below. I've got Twitter where I'm going to be live tweeting, maybe the Oscars or other award shows. And I've got an Instagram and TikTok. And if you're looking for more bite-sized, 60-second review stuff or videos, or just maybe funny videos that I post on there, then please go check out my Instagram and TikTok. All of that will be in the description. And also check out my podcast. It's called The Casual Critic as well. And we'll be going into, some other topics, or maybe just life stuff too. Not necessarily entertainment 24/7. But we're going to be talking about stuff on there that I won't be talking about in videos. So if you want more content, follow the podcast. It should be, if nothing happens, it should be wherever you listen to podcasts at. So thank you for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, please. I'm trying to grow this channel. I'm trying to do my thing. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, click the bell, and 3 new videos a week, plus a podcast episode if you're interested in that. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot of content being given freely to you. So please go follow me, subscribe, do all that stuff. It really helps out. And thank you so much for watching this video. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.